So here I am, guys, on the way to the range for the first time in weeks. I haven't had, in some cases, opportunity to go. In more cases recently, I haven't had the inclination to go. So recently, just over 2 weeks ago, we had to say goodbye to our best buddy, my pal Kuno, German Shepherd, just shy of his 10th birthday, which was far too soon to say goodbye. But he was really sick. He had a lot of things wrong inside, and unfortunately, what made it really hard was he didn't know how sick he was. So being a video person who shoots a lot of video, every time I would get new video equipment or want to test some new method of doing something with my video equipment, Kuno was typically my test subject. Because of that, and I'm very, very thankful for that, I have a lot of footage of my buddy. Some of it is extremely good quality stuff too. So I'm real happy to have a lot of footage to remember my pal, and I want to put together this video to really pay tribute to him and to our friendship, and I thought I would share it because, after all, if you have a YouTube channel, you might as well share. So I completely understand that not everybody's going to be into the concept of this video or enjoy it or like it or whatever, and that's fine. For those of you who are dog lovers and you have a companion in your life, just make sure you take a little time every single day to spend that quality time with them, because you never know. I was not ready for Kuno to go. I wasn't ready for him to be so sick, so soon, and so bad. But, I didn't get to watch him grow old and start to have arthritis and start to not see and hear as well. All the things that help us to prepare for the fact that, our companion may be leaving us. It went a lot quicker than that. So I pretty much miss my buddy every single day, almost all day. There's nowhere I can look or go that he shouldn't be there with me, that I'm not reminded of him. He loved being in the back of this truck. Fold the seats up in the back, and that was his area, and he loved going for a ride. So let me just tell you a little bit about him and run some video and make this tribute to my pal. Kuno came to us as our Christmas present to ourselves 10 years ago, just a couple of days before Christmas, and he was at the very tender young age of 6.5 weeks. And 6.5 weeks is arguably very young. It's decidedly very young to bring home a puppy. Arguably too young. Many people will tell you that.
Smile. 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 Smile.
But the decision to bring him home at 6.5 weeks versus waiting until he was 8 weeks or older, which is recommended and preferable, was a matter of, I don't want to say less of two evils, but it was a better opportunity. And that was because it was right before Christmas, and between my wife and me, we were going to have about 2 weeks where one of us would always be home. And we thought that constant presence and companionship with the new puppy in a new home was more important than that last week and a half with his siblings and his mother. And so that's what we chose, because the alternative would be wait till he was 8 weeks old and then right away leave him home all day by himself in a crate 5 days a week, and you know. So he was our Christmas present to ourselves, and he was an adorable little fuzzball, and pretty much right off the bat, he loved chasing balls, whether it was a tiny little toy golf ball around the house, or, you know, he learned to like to bite and chew little things like puppies do, but he learned pretty quickly that Dad's hands were his favorite chew toy, and that pretty much never stopped all his life. Dad's hands were always his favorite chew toy. So for training him as a puppy, and I've had dogs all my life. Most of them have been German Shepherds, but this was the first time I really put effort and energy into trying to formally train the dog, and we took him to classes that I ended up not liking because they were all about put a choke collar on your dog and yank the hell out of them every 5 minutes, and you know, basically bully them into obedience, and I just wasn't comfortable with that. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the way I didn't like the results that it was producing. So we quit going to those classes. I don't think we even finished all the classes that we had paid for. And, you know, I started just sort of doing my own reading and research and getting different points of view.
Where's your ball?
What I finally settled on was just being a leader and a companion and an example to the puppy. And that's really when things started to click and gel, and we developed the best relationship I've ever had with a dog.
Not frolicking?
We were truly companions and best buddies.
What's that? What's that? There's a camera. There's a camera. Look. There's a camera. There's a camera.
Come here. Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Let's go get your ball. Shall we go get your ball? Come on. Go get it. Go get your ball. There's your ball. Come here.
Well, the camera's more interesting.
Kuno was a German Shepherd that was from a Czechoslovakian line of German Shepherds. And he was from a breeding line that was very much working dog, police dog, service dog, that type of thing. And he had that sort of personality. He had a very powerful, strong, and stubborn personality. He had a lot of drive. So he had strong prey drive and strong play drive, and he liked to play hard. And if you didn't get him enough play, especially when he was young, if if you didn't play with him enough, you were going to pay the price later with all that energy. But he loved balls probably more than anything. He liked frisbees, but he never became a real great frisbee dog. He would tire of that pretty quick. But he never got tired of tennis balls. I bought him the larger size tennis ball, almost softball size, because I was afraid that a normal size tennis ball might be something he could choke on. So I bought him the larger tennis balls, and they were perfect. He loved those. We went through dozens of those in his life. And the other thing that he enjoyed doing was chasing a soccer ball. I had an old cheap kid's toy soccer ball that I would kick around the yard, and he would chase it around and bite it and things like that, but he would actually dribble it with his front paws and play goalie to where I would try to kick the ball past him and he would try and stop it. That was literally one of our fun things.
Eat the camera. What? 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 What?
He loved water. He loved, occasionally we would set up a little kiddie pool on a hot day in the summer and let him get in there and splash around. And what dog doesn't love that? So he loved doing that. That was always big fun. We had a daily ritual in the summertime where I would go out and water the potted flowers that we had around the house. We had, anytime 4 or 6 different potted flowers. And I would fill up the watering can and go water those flowers. Well, we got into a routine where before I would do that, I would take the hose, and I had an on-off valve at the end of my hose. So I would turn the hose on, and using that on-off valve, I would play with him where I would shoot the water out of the hose in a sort of a circular pattern, and he would run and chase it, try and bite it. And of course I would make sure I let him catch it and let him bite it, but not enough to where he got soaking wet. That was sort of the game. So anytime I said, do you want to water the flowers, he would jump up and literally run toward the door to go water the flowers. So that was one of his favorite things.
What is it, boy? Is it a fire?
I wish I had video of that. I always meant to put up a tripod and a camera and get video of us doing that, but alas, I don't have that. But the thing he loved even more than that was snowballs. I could throw snowballs all day long until my arm fell off, and he would never stop chasing them. Even when I could tell he was completely exhausted, he would still chase the snowballs. And here in the Mid-Atlantic, we don't get a lot of snow, usually, thankfully. But whenever we did get snow, that was always something that he and I both looked forward to, was going out and making some snowballs so that my buddy could chase them. And he loved it. That was his most favorite thing in the whole world.
I lost him.
So, so here on the Just an Opinion channel, there's the beginning of almost every video. There are the toy ducks on a treadmill, right? You're probably familiar with that. You probably just saw it. So the toy ducks had their place in the channel, and then at the very end of all of my videos, if you've ever made it that far, to the very, very end, you will see Kuno wearing a pair of doggles, which are goggles for dogs, like they were his cool shades. And that is the end of the video. Well, every once in a while, we would have these channel meetings, these little get-togethers, and Kuno would occasionally have some discussion with the ducks as to, what everybody's place was in the pecking order within the channel. So here's some of that where Kuno was having one of those regular discussions with the toy ducks about who's who at the Just an Opinion channel.
Okay, sit. Okay, sit. Okay, sit. Nice duck. Nice duck. Sit. Wait.
So one of my other favorite things, and I think it was also one of his other favorite things, but I certainly enjoyed it, was just getting on the floor and wrestling. So because Kuno and I had the relationship that we did, which was one of complete trust both ways, we loved to wrestle on the floor. I could get him, put him on his back and get on top of him and just about put my weight on him and just wrestle and bite each other and, grab and hold his paws and all of that kind of stuff. And that was one of our favorite ways to pass the time.
Did you just get snot all over my camera lens? Did you just get snot all over it? Huh?
So like every dog, Kuno loved going for a walk. What dog doesn't love walks? And especially if you get to go in the car first and take a ride to a park where you're going to go for a walk. And that was our favorite thing. We loved to go to a nearby park. It was only a few miles away. So short car ride followed by a great walk. And at one point in time, I remember using the little camera that I use sometimes for first-person shooter type of point of view on my hat. I put that camera on his leash and sort of made a leash cam out of it and got a lot of really fun footage of a good long walk. So here's some of that. I'm just going to leave it uninterrupted and just Kuno enjoying a walk on a beautiful day. I think it was early autumn at his favorite place with Mom and Dad. Another place he loved to ride in the truck was to go to the bank. He loved whenever I had to go to the bank to cash a check, which isn't something most of us do too much anymore with direct deposit and things like that, but every once in a while you got to go to the bank and make a deposit. And when I would do that, he literally could hear me taking the deposit slip out of my drawer and he would get excited. And then we would jump in the car and we would go to the bank. I would put down the rear window and he would bark at the window where the lady was, and the nice lady would make the treat come out of the magic tube, and he looked forward to that. And I think the nice lady at the bank looked forward to seeing him. I'm not sure I'm going to want to go to the bank anymore by myself now. It's just not going to be any fun. So I may let my wife do the banking from now on. So this is my tribute to my dog, Kuno, German Shepherd, Czechoslovakian line. Amazing, gorgeous dog. Most of his life he ranged between 110 and 114 pounds. Solid, tall, proud. Turned every head wherever we went, whether it was to a pet store or the vet's office or a walk in the park. Wherever we went, lots of comments on just how gorgeous he was. And he was a beautiful boy. He was my best buddy. He was my constant companion, and I miss him dearly. So I hope that if you've tolerated watching this, I hope that it wasn't too long or boring. And if you enjoyed it, because maybe you're a dog person, then thank you for watching. I appreciate that. Okay, so there we have it. The life and times of Kuno. He left us just shy of his 10th birthday, way too soon. I still miss him really badly, and I'm going to for a long time, but I want to pay tribute to him. I was in the mood to do it now, and so thanks for watching and for sharing it with me, and we'll see you again.